Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Watch Darius TV. I'm back with another review. This is of P-Valley Season 2, Episode 7, Jackson. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, do all that stuff. Thank you so much. So anyway, let's just start. The episode starts with Clifford's grandmother, basically in her younger years. She's singing in the club. This club almost kind of, for me personally, kind of reminds me of the original Pink Club, basically. Except it's not a strip club; it's a sort of a basically a regular club. We see a young Clifford and his mom. That was pretty interesting, seeing a little glimpse of them. And then we end up seeing Clifford's grandmother, Ernestine. She basically sees her daughter, who has passed away, and she sees her as a ghost, wanting to take her away, basically. And I guess you get the feeling that most likely she might end up dying this season, possibly. So that was pretty eerie to see. So yeah, that's what I pretty much get the feeling that most likely Clifford's grandmother might pass away this season. I don't know why in the world was I thinking that was possibly Ernestine was his mom this whole time. I must have forgot. Like I said, P Valley has been off TV for 2 years, so I kind of forgot. So yeah, forgive me for that. Uh, anyway, Clifford ends up having a scene where he talks to Autumn basically and shares stories of his family from inside the Pink Club and stuff like that. Or maybe, I guess, the flashback that Ernestine had, maybe that was where obviously the Pink was originally at. Maybe that's what the club took place at, I think. Yeah, I probably wasn't paying that much attention, but I'm guessing that flashback took place at the Pink Club back several decades ago, and they basically argue over ownership of the club. And she wants to sell it, and he, feels that this is his home and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway, we end up finding out that Tarika, she's still going to be on 16 and pregnant, basically, because she's got a kid coming up. She's pregnant, and Mercedes decides to basically help her out by taking her out on a ride, as we can see in this episode. So Tarika and Mercedes, they spend a lot of time together in this episode. Yeah, so Tarika basically is still, going to be a mom soon. So Little Murder is having murders from the previous episode when Big T committed suicide. So he's still basically having to recover from that ordeal. It was so much going on for him at that time, so he still got to recover from that. Ernestine is sick. I believe maybe she got some COVID going on there. I don't know. I'm assuming it is because, this season still took place in 2020. So most likely she's suffering from COVID. And we know that really had a negative effect on a lot of older people, unfortunately. Little Murder ends up helping her out. So that's good. He's showing his side of her, wanting to help her out and stuff like that. And then with her being blind, she has, extra senses going on. So sense of smell is very strong. She says that she smelled death on him, blood and stuff like that. So that's obviously from Big Teek's exit. So yeah, that was pretty tough for Little Murder to still have to really go through that. Also in this episode, we see Krishan. She's spotted by Autumn, where she was going shopping with basically the white Ike Turner, aka Derek, and she basically wants to really help Krishan out, about dealing with her situation with her abusive baby daddy. So she wants to help her out, basically with that, but she can't necessarily help her just yet, though. Krishan is still sort of stuck dealing with him, but she still is not going to give up on helping her out yet. I forgot Krishan and Autumn even had any real relationship. This is the first time seeing them interact this season. They seem like they may have been close, I guess, in season one, but like I said, I forgot about what happens a lot in season one. I haven't seen that in 2 years, so like I said, forgive me. Then there's a scene where Mercedes is driving Tarika, driving her out, and they even play the song WAP. Like I said, this episode really, this season in general, shows that it clearly took place in 2020 because they're even playing that song still, and that feels like that was kind of dated at this point now. Uh, Basically, so this whole time Mercedes been planning on taking Tarika to an abortion clinic, basically. And I find it kind of ironic that this episode come out during a time after the whole. I've been keeping up with it, but the Roe versus Wade situation with the Supreme Court. So it's kind of ironic this episode took place around the time this whole ordeal has been going on with Roe versus Wade. I haven't really kept up with it that much, but I know it's about the Supreme Court trying to prevent women from basically being able to have more control over their bodies and uh, them giving birth. I'm sorry, I didn't really keep up with it much. I'm not gonna lie, but basically, I know it has something to do with abortions and stuff like that, and that's what this episode sort of is about in a way. And I find it kind of ironic this episode came out during a time where, this whole situation is going on. So I thought that was pretty coincidental, but anyway, so Little Murder. He's basically been hiding out ever since this whole situation happened the previous night with Big Teak and stuff like that. Wody calls him up and Wody talks to him about it and stuff like that, and about what they're going to do with Big Teak's body, and everybody's been hitting him up, about his song that he has with I think Tina Snow, I guess that's AKA Megan Thee Stallion. I think I'm not sure, but basically, Lil Murda is completely not caring about that. He's taking a break from all the fame to get his mind clear after, the whole situation happened with Big Teak. Plus, on top of that, he wants to spend more time with Clifford, I guess. So, so that's what basically Little Murda is at in this episode. And then Little Murda ends up questioning Clifford about basically his appearance. I guess what he maybe identify as, and what is he? Is he transgendered or something, or so he asks, about his appearance and stuff like that. And then Little Murder says something interesting. He says that he's what the world won't let him be, which I find pretty. That was pretty deep, what he said, about that. Clifford is completely embraces who he is. He is out with who he is and stuff like that. Whereas Clifford has the exact opposite. He has a complete gangster persona. Nobody would ever think that he would be closeted. So I thought that was pretty interesting quote by Little Murder. But then we end up seeing that not Little Murder, Clifford's grandmother ends up leaving the house somehow. I don't know how she was able to get away that far with being blind, but she was able to find some way to escape the house. So now Clifford and Little Murder has to find her. Mercedes has flashbacks of her mom, basically from when they were younger, and in a diner and stuff like that. A scene where her mom sort of in a way, like I guess she was trying to like prostitute Mercedes because they were in a restaurant. They didn't have enough money to pay the bills, so she sort of wants to get Mercedes to get money from a guy. I don't know if it was through sexual favor, or maybe just trying to rob the guy, pick his pockets, maybe. But it is kind of ironic that she would try to prostitute her own daughter that way, and her daughter ends up actually growing up and leaving stripping and ends up getting into basically prostitution. That was pretty ironic if that was what they were going for with that scene. And then she ends up getting mad when she finds out that Mercedes been basically having a condom in her purse, in her wallet, and Mercedes, she ends up completely going off on Mercedes and whooping her in the diner in front of everybody. So that was a pretty intense scene, just showing how much Mercedes' mom is just completely awful. Just Patrice, I think her name is, just complete trash, horrible mom. Mercedes clearly sees that she does not want to be like her mom. She definitely is trying her best to avoid being that way, even though she's sort of in a similar situation. When Mercedes was young, she got, pregnant at a young age, and now her daughter is also getting pregnant at a young age also. So it's the irony of that continual cycle going on. Mercedes finds out that Tarika's boyfriend wants to start a family, which really she doesn't like that. And eventually, Tarika ends up going off on Mercedes, talking about how she ain't got nobody except for the men that she does dances with in a strip club. Mercedes pops her in the mouth, and basically, it seems like it's another cycle continuing, which is the cycle of abuse. Mercedes' mom, Patricia, hit her. Now Mercedes is hitting her daughter, and it's just a continual cycle of abuse. This whole episode is just Mercedes trying her best to break, I guess, this cycle of trying to avoid being like her mom. Um, Mercedes and Tarika, they basically go into the abortion clinic, and there's protesters there and stuff like that, and there's just a whole bunch going on. Mercedes even has another flashback seeing her mom judging her about what's going on and stuff like that. And Tarika ends up going to the abortion clinic, and the nurse basically tells her that, yo, you got to figure out what you want to do. Do you want to give up the child or keep it? So Tarika has to think what she wants to do. You know, that's what the rest of this episode is about, is her trying to figure out what does she want to do with her life. Does she want to be a mother or not? Ernestine is she ends up going to the Mississippi River, and she's just having complete delusions and stuff like that. She wants to jump into the Mississippi River, and Clifford the Little Murder basically have to stop her and bring her home. She ends up fainting, so she's just a lot going on with her. She just it's so much going on with her. She having delusions and everything. It's just so they end up helping her home and stuff like that. Mercedes says then Mercedes and Tarika, they have a talk basically while they're at the pool and stuff like that, and she says that she's going to possibly be a grandmother at 30. You already know that sounds a mess right there. To being a grandmother at 30, that I ain't gonna lie, that sounds a mess. That sounds, but basically this is what Tarika wants. Even though it sounds not really like the best move, but that's what Tarika's planning on doing, even though it sounds not so good. But anyway, Clifford ends up sending his mom to the hospital. He's completely sad and worried about her and stuff like that. And I'm actually even worried about the character. It seemed like she may not make it before the end of this season, but I don't know. But I also saw a sneak preview of the next episode, and he seems to be pretty happy, so she might possibly make it through. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty worried about his mom though, even though she's a fictional character. But it's like, man, I hope his mom really makes it through this season. Mercedes still argues with Tarika about motherhood and stuff like that when we're at the hotel, about her trying to figure out what she wants to do. And Tarika argues about why her mom wasn't there. They're arguing about motherhood, all that other stuff like that. But Mercedes ends up seeing her own mom in her reflection. So, like I said, she's trying so hard to not be like her mom. She's trying so difficult not to be like her. Tarika says she won't be like neither of her mom or her stepmom. She won't be like neither of her, the birth mom or the stepmom. She doesn't want to be like neither of them. She's not going to hit her child. She's not going to do this. She's not going to do that. But eventually, the two end up making peace, and Mercedes ends up giving her a choice as to what she wants to do. And also, she ends up giving her keys to a car so she can basically be able to drive to wherever she wants to go, whether she wants to keep the child or not. She ends up going to Jackson. So I believe I forgot what they said, which area was where the abortion clinic is at, but she basically decides that she wants to keep the child. So they finally make peace. I think her giving her the keys is also like giving her the keys to her life to make her own life decisions, not just the keys to the car, but that's what I thought the metaphor probably they were trying to go with, my personal opinion. Then we go back to Little Murder, and he's trying to cheer Clifford up. Clifford's been crying in the shower about his mom. He's completely worried about her. So Clifford, puts on some Cisco, because clearly the character Little Murder looks like a gangster Cisco with that blonde dye in his hair. And he wants to cheer him up the most he can, even if it's temporarily, and then eventually they end up getting it on to that Kendrick song. So, that's how that is. And they basically reconnect. So, that's how that is. So, anyway, Tarika asks if she will, she's talking to Mercedes, stuff like that at home. And they see a video of Patricia, doing all her preaching and stuff like that. And not Little Murder. Tarika ends up asking Mercedes, basically she's going to be condemned for having this child, and basically Mercedes says that, hey, look, if you're gonna get condemned to hell, then I'm gonna be with you. So shows that their connection is now tight. They're basically mother and daughter. So I like seeing that. That was pretty nice to see. Then Autumn ends up finally visiting Krishan. She gets to her home. I thought that she was gonna bring a gun with her to hide her gun, to be like, even though she already gave her a gun, I thought maybe she was gonna give her another gun, or maybe give her another clip to put into the gun to deal with White Ike Turner or something like that. But she shares this story basically. I forgot what the story was about, but basically we know that the story was about Krishan, basically a metaphor of Krishan's life. I hope I'm saying her name right, but basically a metaphor about her life and stuff like that, and basically to motivate her to possibly either get away from Derek or kill him. Either way, do whatever she needs to do to get away from this man. And she ends up instead giving her a cell phone, so she can call up somebody to basically help her out with what's going on. So now she has a gun, she has a phone that she can use, so she can help to get her up out of here, to get away from this dude and all his craziness. So this episode was a pretty good one. It had a lot of metaphors to it. it was interesting. It didn't take place too much in a strip club, so I thought that was pretty interesting. That was interesting to see an episode without being in a strip club. That was interesting. My theories for this season, I still have a strange feeling Little Murder might die this season. I keep thinking that. I got a feeling that he might, but hopefully he might not because Pig Tick already died. So I doubt that they'll have Little Murder die too. I think that'd be too much. Most likely, I get the feeling that Clifford's mom might possibly pass away. I'm hoping she don't, but I get a feeling she might possibly die before the end of the season. But I'm really hoping she don't. Still, there's gonna be a few going on between Autumn and everybody from the Pink. I think she might possibly decide to not sell the club in the last minute because I doubt she wants to be on the outs with everybody. And I think also Tarika is going to end up having this kid, and Mercedes is going to start her family and stuff like that, and possibly leave maybe prostitution and um, stripping alone. I guess they call it sex work now. She's gonna leave them both alone because she knows she's gonna be a grandmother now. I believe so. And who else? And then we can't forget about those characters in the strip club though. They may not possibly. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with them. There's definitely some weird stuff going on with Whisper and Roulette, but we'll get to that. The episode isn't about them though. But definitely Clifford and Little Murder, they're going to get back to being close again. Eventually, Little Murder is going to eventually come out. I think so, eventually. People are not going to like it, but eventually he's going to have to come out because he loves Clifford. So I could see him eventually coming out of the closet. And who else do I have theories for? I think that's about it. But yeah, this episode was a pretty good one. It was decent. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, do all that stuff. And thank you for watching my video. And I have more to come. And this is Al from Watch Darius TV. Peace.